lovely viewers. Good morning. We thank God for life, and I'm happy to have come your way today to share what I have with you. As I promised last week, we are going to talk about health, a very important topic, and we are going to deal with this topic for some number of weeks. You know, there is this condition that is a major health concern worldwide, and it is a silent killer, killing a lot of people, silently. They didn't see it coming, they didn't see any symptom, and suddenly they were told that they had complications, they have complications like renal failure or kidney failure, they have heart failure and all that. And as a result, they have gone to be with the Lord. Okay, I mean, they have passed away. But today we want to really or deeply appreciate the fact that this condition is very important to know about, so that we'll be able to act in a way that we will not find ourselves victims of this medical condition. We will not be patients of this medical condition. So today I'm going to talk about high blood pressure, which you've heard of a number of times, or hypertension as we usually say. Hypertension is a silent killer, and it happens sometimes to people and they are not aware, and they die mysteriously. They will say, oh, he was just talking, and he fell, he collapsed, we rushed him to the hospital, he didn't come back again. We are going to break this condition down for some number of weeks so that we will be able to really understand and know what to do as individuals who want to live long. All right, so there are facts that I want you to really get when it comes to this condition. I made my research from the WHO guidelines with respect to hypertension, the American Heart Association, and also I made my research from the Ghana Standard Treatment Guidelines and Medscape. I just really wanted you to be blessed with this topic and to also appreciate and understand it very well, so that you'll be able to live responsibly. High blood pressure or hypertension, first of all, you have to understand that it's a medical condition or is a disorder of the cardiovascular system. When we talk about cardiovascular system, we are talking basically about the blood, the heart, the blood vessels, particularly the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, if you want to add the lymphatic system, then you want to talk about the entire circulatory system. But we will restrict ourselves to the cardiovascular system for now, because we are talking about high blood pressure. All right, so WHO states that these are facts you have to note, that an estimated 1.28 billion adults aged 30 to 79 years worldwide have hypertension. So you can note these points down. And most of these adults, that's 2/3 of them, are living in low and middle income countries. So it means that our part of the world, we have a lot of people with high blood pressure, because they are saying that most of the population that have high blood pressure, are living in middle income and low income countries. And we can testify that our part of the world is under this category. All right, and another point you have to note is that an estimated 46% of adults with high blood pressure are unaware they are hypertensive. So most of the people are walking on this surface of the earth, and they are walking, and they are not aware that they are hypertensive. That is very dangerous. Okay, and also less than half of adults with high blood pressure are diagnosed and treated. So among those who have, less than half of them are diagnosed and treated, which is serious matter. Approximately 1 in 5 adults, that is 21%, with high blood pressure have it under control. So it's only 21% who have high blood pressure have it under control. It's another serious matter. All right. Hypertension is a major cause of premature death worldwide. So you also have to note that this condition we are talking about is not something to be taken for granted, because it's a major cause of death worldwide. Our part of the world, we attribute any death to, spiritual influence. I believe in spiritism. I believe that demons can orchestrate some people's death. Demons can cause misfortunes to happen, and even these sicknesses we are talking about, they are not something God created for us, ideally. Okay, but we find ourselves, suffering from them. I believe a lot in spiritism, but there are times that we also have to face a reality that not every death was due to demonic enchantments that demons caused you to die or something. Sometimes it is because of our lifestyle, because of our ignorance and all that. So let's go into the definition of high blood pressure. This morning I'm just doing an overview. Then we will have more weeks to talk about this condition, because I really want to break it down for you to understand it very well, okay, so that you can even lecture your parents, your grandparents, and all that on this topic. All right, so hypertension is when the pressure in your blood vessels is too high. That is the definition WHO gave me. So the blood pressure in your, the cardiovascular system is in a way that we have as I said, the heart, we have the vessels, the veins, arteries, capillaries, okay, and we have the blood. So the heart is supposed to pump blood and is also supposed to receive blood. All right, so it pumps blood to the entire body tissues through what we call arteries. So arteries carry blood away from the heart. You have to know that point. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood to the heart. So as I said, the heart receives blood, pumps blood. So the messenger that will take the blood to the heart for it to receive are the veins, and also the messenger that will take the blood away from the heart to the entire body tissues. So the heart actually pumps blood, yes, pumps and receives blood. So the messenger that will carry blood to the heart are the veins, and those that will carry blood away from the heart to the body tissues are the arteries. Okay, the capillaries will just function as connection between the arteries and the veins. All right, so basically the blood vessel that you have to note when it comes to high blood pressure are the arteries, okay, because the arteries are the ones that will carry blood away from the heart to the tissues, and usually they carry blood under very high pressure. All right, okay, because the heart will pump the blood to them and they will carry it to the tissues. All right, so one thing you have to note is that when these arteries that are carrying blood, the blood pressure in the arteries become too much, okay, than normal, because under normal circumstance, the pressure in the arteries should be normal, okay. That is why we have blood pressure, okay. We measure blood pressure, so it means that normally there should be a pressure, okay, but the pressure shouldn't exceed some limit, okay. If it exceeds a limit, then we call it a high blood pressure, okay. So if the pressure is supposed to be normal, then it means that the arteries can accommodate and contain that pressure. But in the case that pressure exceeds the normal or the limit, then it will be a problem for these arteries. So what is the pressure we are talking about, the normal pressure we are talking about? Generally, when the BP is 140, 90 or more, we call it hypertension. All right, if you go to the US, their guideline is different. For US, even if the BP is 130 to 139, 130, the systolic is 130 to 139, and the diastolic is 80 to 89, they term it as stage 1 hypertension. That's for them. Okay, but in our case or in our part of the world, when the BP is 140 to over 90 or more, we term it as high blood pressure. The systolic blood pressure is the first reading that you notice when BP is being checked. Okay, so the first reading, the systolic simply means that the heart is pumping the blood. Okay, the heart is pumping the blood through the arteries, okay, to the entire body. And the diastolic is when the heart is receiving the blood. Okay, the heart is relaxed and receiving the blood, okay, from the veins, then will now decide to pump. All right, so the first value is the systolic. That is when the heart is pumping the blood. Okay, and the second value is the diastolic. That is when the heart is accepting the blood. So either of these values, when it goes beyond a limit, can be termed hypertension. You don't need the two values to go beyond the limit before you will say it's high blood pressure. Okay, so once the value is, if the systolic is 140 or more, you can say the person has high blood pressure. I'll tell you as time goes on, when we diagnose high blood pressure, not just one value. The person comes to hospital, you record the value 140. For the first time, you say the person is hypertensive. No, you don't say that. I'll show you a time we will discuss, or we will talk about that one too. And when the diastolic is 90 or more, then it can be categorized as high blood pressure or diastolic high blood pressure. So you can have only systolic high blood pressure without having diastolic high blood pressure. And you can have only diastolic high blood pressure without having systolic high blood pressure. So if the two come together, we still call it as hypertension. So that means that if the systolic is high and the diastolic too is high, that is, you have both the systolic and diastolic hypertension. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's the diastolic or the systolic. Once any of them is high consistently, then we can say that you have high blood pressure. But high blood pressure can be categorized into two, types, I would say. Okay, I mean, we have two categories of high blood pressure. I mean, that when it comes to how they came about, or how it came about, we have two categories. We have the primary hypertension and the secondary hypertension. The primary is also called essential hypertension. I think we have more information for today. It's just an overview. From next week, God willing, we are going to talk about the primary and the secondary hypertension, and you will know how you can develop high blood pressure. So just ponder over this. You can do more research on it, and when we meet next week, you can type your questions in the comments section, because I'll post this video on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. All right, thank you very much. And I also post it on WhatsApp, so if you have any problem, you can come to my DM, then we'll talk about it. God bless you for your time. Have a blessed week. I pray that God will see you through this week. Your week will be blessed. Whatever you touch will be a blessing. And Lord, I pray if anybody is sick, from the crown of the person's head to the soles of his feet or her feet, heal the person completely in the name of Jesus. Thank you, living God, for an answered prayer. In Jesus' name.